You want to teach real-world learning? Try buying and selling a house. Welcome to the Hack Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Barnes, bringing you right now solutions to some of your biggest teaching and learning problems. Now, let's hack learning.
I got out my bed early this morning, down the road.
Yes, I got out of my bed early this morning because I have to hack real-world learning. I hear it all the time. Teachers talk about it, parents talk about it, people tweet about it, blog about it, share on Facebook about real-world learning. I just wonder how much of it are we really teaching in schools as we continue to send home the 23-pound backpack filled with textbooks and workbooks and worksheets and the ongoing monotony of the traditional classroom and traditional education. And then we tell kids that we have to prepare them for the real world. Sure we do, and sure we should, but are we? So in the open, you heard me say something about buying and selling a house. That's what's going on in the Barnes household these days, and I should say households, because we're talking about two of them. We just bought a house, and now we are selling the house that we live in. And yes, we still live in it. We don't move into our new home for about another month. So what we have going on is what I call real world learning. So the opportunities that come with this are immense. I started thinking about this the other day. And again, my children came home, sweating and huffing and puffing as they trudged into the house with these monstrous backpacks that they bring home every day. I've complained about the backpack here before. I've even weighed the backpack, taken a picture of it, put it on the Hack Learning show notes page in my never-ending complaint about traditional homework. But we won't dwell on that. That's a part of this, but we're really talking about real-world learning because teachers say that's what they want to do. And many, including, I'm sure many listening today, are certainly teaching things that will connect to the real world. But what I am troubled by is the worksheet, the workbook, the textbook questions, the reading a chapter about some ancient civilization and then answering rote memory questions about that on a quiz and saying, yeah, we need this for the real world because kids don't get that. I don't get it. How is that real world? Let me get back to the household Barnes, the households Barnes. So what we're doing right now, and I haven't done this in a long time. My wife and I moved to our current home 16 years ago. We had no children. We moved from an apartment, so there was no selling a house at that point in time. It was buying and then just moving the little bit of furniture we had, which at that point in time, we were newly married, so there wasn't a lot of stuff. And it was pretty basic, pretty simple to do. Well, now, years later, with two middle school-aged kids, we are moving, and we had to buy a house, of course, so we could move into it. And then we had to prepare our house to sell. Now, this happened really quickly. Okay, so we were out sort of casually looking, and I don't know if you've done that or if you're thinking about it, but there's really nothing casual about house hunting. So we go, we have a realtor, they sign us up to go see this home and that one and this one and that one. And the next thing you know, we find a house that we love. And this thing is in the neighborhood we want to live in. It's near the schools we like. It is near the freeways, which we love because right now we're sort of landlocked and we hate that. So, and it's closer to our families by probably about 15 to 20 minutes, depending on who we want to visit. So we think, man, this is great. And it has everything we want. And it's the kind of house that we say when we are empty nesters, which will be soon. Our kids will be in college in a few short years. And we say, we'll be empty nesters. And this is kind of the perfect place for us then as well as now. So suddenly we're scrambling to get this house. And now we're dealing with lenders. We have to get our mortgage in place. And we have to get a mortgage in place while we're carrying the loan on our current house. So they have to make sure we can afford to pay two mortgages in the event that we don't sell our current home after we move in to our new home. Now, I'm thinking about this the other day, and I'm thinking, wow, there's so much going on in our lives right now. And I'm trying to teach this to my kids who, while they're in the midst of the workbooks, the worksheets, and all of the things that they don't enjoy about school. And in the meantime, we're living this craziness. So every day we talk about it. And they're asking plenty of questions about buying, and you know, they're listening to Molly, my wife, and I talk, and they're of course, you know, very curious about all of this, inquisitive kids, and they hear us talking about getting a loan, and so they start asking about that, and then I try to explain a little bit about the finances, and my son overhears me on a very heated conversation, phone conversation with a lender one day, because they, of course, are asking for every piece of paper that I think I've ever put my name on that is related to any kind of purchase or credit. I bought a candy bar like 15 years ago, and I think they wanted the receipt. So anyways, my son's asking me about this. That was a joke. My son is asking about this, and so I'm explaining a little bit about how this works. And, you know, if you try to explain, if we have math teachers listening, if you try to explain, you know, debt-to-income ratio or credit to a 14-year-old, it's a tricky thing, but it's real world. I mean, it's as real world as it gets. So I take this opportunity to talk to the kids about credit and credit worthiness and to say how you should prepare yourself because this day will come for you. So in the meantime, as this is going on, we suddenly have to prepare our home of 16 years to be sold. We have to prepare it to be listed. And this is a challenging thing because we've been here so long and we've done a lot to the house over the years, but we're still not listing ready. So if you know anything about selling a house, the big thing I realize is it's all about the pictures. You have to have your house, as my realtor loves to say, picture ready. She says, I'm going to send a professional photographer over. You know, I said, well, we're not going to Sears to get our family portrait for the holidays. But she says we have to have the professional pictures to put on the listing because that's going to get people in to see your house. So what we do is we sort of rebuild the house inside while we're moving all of the things that we're either going to take to a new home or we're going to get rid of. And over 16 years, you amass a lot of stuff. At least if you're like we are, you know, I find out that we're a little bit of hoarders, you know, we're hoarding things, putting them in all of our storage for later. Well, later comes like 16 years later. So we're moving boxes and they're filled with dust and we're deciding what to keep and what to throw away and we're packaging. Well, along the way, the kids are enlisted to help. We need them and they're very capable. So we're standing around the dining room table one day, and we are putting bubble wrap around pictures that we're taking off the walls because we had to paint inside our house. The entire home was painted. And we had to have carpet cleaned, and we had to do all kinds of cleaning out of drawers and cabinets and china closets and all of that. And then, of course, that comes with more cleaning to make sure the place looks spiffy. So we're doing this, and we're talking about it. And we're talking about strategies, you know, and the first thing was a packing strategy. And we're talking about how we should take things off the wall and how we should prepare them to be moved and what goes into that. What are the potential problems, I asked my kids. So we talked about that. And this was a stimulating conversation for a good 5 or 10 minutes as we're standing there and sort of tearing down our dining room and getting it ready. Picture ready, mind you, so we can list our house. So, you know, the kids are saying, well, you know, we got to make sure that this is breakable. So we need to make sure that it's wrapped because it's going to be bumping into other things. And we're going to have people carrying it and they have to make room for it on a moving truck. And, you know, and then we talked about labeling. Well, where is it going to go in our new house? Well, I don't know. We need to talk about that. And then we need to make sure that a mover knows. So what should we do next? And my daughter, of course, said, well, we should put a label on every box. And we're having some fun with our new home. We decided to name each room. And we're naming them after Star Trek vessels. because we're big Star Trek fans. So we have an Enterprise room and a Voyager room and a Deep Space Nine room. So anyways, we're going to label our boxes. This goes into Enterprise, and then the topic comes up, well, how do our movers know? And, one of the kids said, well, we could put signs in the room. So if it's the Enterprise room, we put a big sign that says Enterprise, and we put that on the box, and they'll know that's where it goes. Well, this is important. This is real life stuff. Because at first, when I said, hey, we need to break down this room and get it ready to move, the kids had no idea what to do. Well, what does that mean? How do I do it? And then there was a little bit of math in there. There was some stuff about space and geometry even. We're looking at how to fit certain things into certain boxes and packages and how to maximize space. Really important stuff. Another thing we've learned a great deal about is budgeting our time. Because now life is crazy. The kids have school, we have work, the kids are in plays, they have after-school activities, they have things with friends, we have family events, all of these things, and we have to manage to find time every day to continue to prepare our house for moving, to box things up, to get ready to go, to make our house picture ready, which we've done now, and the pictures are taken. But we have talked a lot about time management. I've said, how can we've got this job that might take 3 or 4 hours, and we've got a week to do this. How can we do it? And we talked a lot about time. One of my kids says, what if we spend X amount of time a night? If we spend 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 15 minutes here, how much can we get done? And then we talked about what we can accomplish getting our house ready, boxing and wrapping and cleaning and moving things around, and how much time that takes so we could fit it into 15 or 20 minutes, and then we could fit that into a week and find out how much we can get done. And then we've got an end date. We're working out to our move date and then sort of working back from there. We're talking about money. We have to buy things, and we're talking about budgeting. We talked about how much money we need when we close our new loan and what that means to us financially. So there's a whole lot in there. And then, sometimes we talk about the stress. We've had dinner conversations where we said, what? Things are tough right now. There's been nights when we didn't make dinner. We're big believers in our family of sitting down to dinner. We love that. We have great conversation, good, healthy meals. We've had times when it's been, hey, we got to order in. Let's go get a pizza. Because we said, what? There's so much stress right now. We don't have time in our lives right now maybe to make this dinner and to sit down. We're gonna make it easy on ourselves tonight. Or we're going to go out. When we had painters in the house, it was easier to sort of escape. Well, where can we go? What's affordable? What's nearby? We've only got this amount of time. These are life skills. And I don't think we get a ton of them in school. But we can. Why not take something like this and move it into the classroom? Move it into your math class and talk about the math that's involved in moving, because there's a ton of it. And it's a lot of the things I've talked about inside a home and preparing for cleaning and painting and moving, and how much stuff do you have, and what size truck do you need, and what's the distance you're going, because we're going to calculate hourly and all this different stuff. So that's a valuable lesson. Talking about stress, the stress of life things, and how we cope with that stress. And when we take days off, when we say, today's a day I can't work on this anymore. I need time. Let's spend some time together. Let's go have some fun. We need that downtime. And we talk about that related to school. I've told my kids, we have the homework talk all the time. They decide when to do their homework, and if they don't get it done, there are consequences at school, and they take those. There's times I've said, I don't know if you're going to be able to get the homework done tonight. You've got theater, you've got a rehearsal for a play, we've got this and that, we're getting ready to go. Where's the homework going to fit? And I've had them say, I'm not going to get it done tonight. And I'm going to have to have that conversation with a teacher at school tomorrow. And that conversation, too, is a valuable one. There's a lot about that conversation in Hacking Homework, which is really about changing the way that we look at homework and out of schoolwork and building relationships. And a lot of these skills we're talking about here as well. Hey, we're hacking real-world learning. It isn't just the move. This is just my example. find some things that you do in your life that are real-world things and ask yourself, how can I move this into my classroom environment? And if you can't make it fit exactly into what you do, maybe it's just worth the time to say, hey, we're going to break from our regularly scheduled teaching and learning today, and we're going to shift gears a little bit and talk about real-world stuff, because kids have it, and they need to know how to manage it. Hey, I appreciate you listening, and I know you're a fan of Hack Learning, or you probably wouldn't be listening, and you've probably read Hack Learning books. We have the new Hack Learning Anthology, and this book is a collection of 10 great hacks from our first 9 books, and it's really a lot about innovation. We call it Innovation for Teachers and Leaders. We're so excited about this book that we want you to have it, and in a really exciting move for us this year, we've decided we're going to give this book away to 10,000 teachers and learners. That's anybody. It's you, your friends, your colleagues. And it's a downloadable. You can get the paperback version. And in fact, we have a downloadable package that even has a coupon to give you a discount on the paperback if you want it. But we want you to have the beautiful ebook version and all of these hacks, and you get it for free. Go to hacklearningfree.com. That's all you got to do. hacklearningfree.com. Sign up. Completely free. No future obligation of any kind. We just want you to have it because we're big believers in innovation, in problem solving the right way, and in hack learning. We think it's a good thing, and we want you to have it. Check out hacklearningfree.com today, and thanks for listening. As always, we continue the conversation at #HackLearning on Twitter and on the show notes page at hacklearningpodcast.com. Thanks for listening. See you next time.